If you've ever thought, why is this still so hard? This episode is for you. Because the truth is, most women who struggle with drinking aren't failing. They're just believing lies that make this process way harder than it has to be. Hello, and welcome back to Feel Good Alcohol Free. I'm Lindsay Henneke, sober coach and the founder of Feel Good AF, a 13-week group program for high-achieving women who want to let go of shame, reclaim their confidence, and quit drinking for good. I'm so glad you're here, mostly because it means that you are taking time for yourself, and that goes a long way. If you're feeling stuck, inconsistent, or like you're the one exception who just can't seem to get it, you're not lost, nor are you failing. You're in the work. You are doing the work. If you haven't listened to episode 17, I recommend you go back and listen to that one too. So today, we're calling out the BS that quietly keeps you spinning. Get ready for 3 lies we tell ourselves. I'm going to share my personal experience with them, and of course, because you know I love giving you homework, there will be some actions for you to take away today. So let's start here. The lies, they're not just personal thoughts. They didn't just appear in our mind. They're everywhere. They are what make the world go round when it comes to drinking culture. They're baked into the way we celebrate, cope, connect, and define what normal looks like. So if you've ever felt like you were the problem because quitting felt hard, or because you even wanted to quit it all, you're not alone. These lies are why so many women are afraid to even want something different. Because if you start questioning them, the fear creeps in. What if people think I have a problem? What if they don't get it? What if I don't get it? I remember feeling this exact tension. I'd go to brunch with friends, laugh, order a mimosa. Okay, 3. And from the outside, everything looked fine. Boozy brunches always led to me on the couch for the afternoon, relaxing with another bottle or 2 of wine. And the next morning, I'd wake up feeling anxious and disconnected, wondering, why do I keep doing this? Why can't I just be normal about it like everyone else? That dissonance, the performance on the outside versus the questioning on the inside, is exactly what these lies feed. And here's the truth. I know far more women who wish they didn't drink than women who casually enjoy a glass or 2 and never think twice. It's just that nobody's really talking about this. So today, we are. So in today's episode, we're going to gently but directly call these lies out. Because when you start to see them for what they are, they lose their power. And you, my friend, start to get yours back. So let's not waste another second and get right into the BS. Lie number 1. If I really wanted this, I'd be done by now. This one hits hard because it sounds like accountability, but it's actually soaked in shame. Women tell me this all the time, like it's a final diagnosis. I hear them saying things like, I must not want it enough, otherwise I wouldn't keep drinking. But that's not the truth. It's a misunderstanding of how change actually works. It feels like truth because it sounds logical, because it's actually rooted in perfectionism and shame. So here's what's really going on. You are up against years of conditioning, coping, and identity habits. Quitting drinking isn't just about not drinking. It's about learning how to live without reaching for alcohol as your reward or your relief or your reset button. Rewiring all of that takes time. It takes repetition. And you've heard me say this before, it takes self-compassion. If you've ever made progress then slipped, that's not failure. That's part of how change works. I had many mornings after drinking a bottle of wine the night before that went like this. I would tell myself it would just be a glass. But of course, it never was. So I'd wake up feeling foggy, dehydrated, and wired from the 3 a.m. shame spiral that I couldn't turn off. I'd wake up, down a coconut water, and try to pull myself together because often I would have a commitment. I'd have to meet friends for a run. I loved our 6:30 a.m. friend group runs, but if I'm being honest, I usually bailed on them. All of this just made my head spin because I knew the version of myself I wanted to be. I wanted to be the woman who met up with her girlfriends a few days a week for a casual 5-miler. I wanted to be the woman who effortlessly strolled into work early and ready to take on any and all challenges. And I did that most days. The difference was it never felt effortless. In fact, it was quite the opposite. The question that was inevitable each morning went something like this. Why can't I just stop? Why can't I want this enough? I felt like I was failing some invisible test, like everyone else had passed with flying colors and I was there stuck with a big F on my paper. But looking back, I wasn't lazy. I wasn't failing. I just hadn't learned how to change the pattern yet. I was still trying to outrun the habit with willpower instead of understanding what kept pulling me back in. That moment wasn't proof I didn't want it. Of course I wanted it. I desperately wanted it. No, it was proof that I was trying just without the right tools. So here's what I want to offer you for insight today on this lie. Wanting to change and being able to change are not the same thing. Desire is the spark. But habits, nervous system wiring, identity, and support systems, that's the fuel. And here's the deal. You're not behind. You're not missing the willpower gene. You're learning how to live differently. And that takes practice, not punishment. So let's try this. Instead of, if I really wanted this, I'd be done by now. I want you to try saying to yourself, the fact that I keep coming back to this work means I haven't given up on myself. That's what real desire looks like. If these words resonate with you, write them down on a piece of paper and put it somewhere you can see it. Surround yourself with reminders that you are on this journey. You are doing the work. You are progressing. Progress isn't how fast you get it. It's how deeply you're willing to keep showing up for your own growth. Okay, lie number 2. Other people seem to get it faster than me. This one hurts. Comparison will mess with your head every time. You're likely comparing your messy middle to somebody else's highlight reel or their silence. It's easy to feel like you're falling behind. You see someone post about hitting 60 days alcohol-free and your stomach drops. Why is she getting it and I'm not? Suddenly, what felt like a hopeful moment becomes one more reason to beat yourself up. I remember this exact spiral. For a while, I was part of a Facebook group where women were sharing their wins, 90 days, 6 months, a whole year sober today. And there I was on day 4 again. I wanted to be happy for them, but if I'm being honest, it mostly made me feel behind. I would quietly compare, wondering what they knew that I didn't. It felt like I was missing some secret ingredient that made it easier for everyone else. Now I know better. Progress doesn't show up the same way for everyone. And honestly, some of the biggest wins happen when nobody's watching. The moment you pause and ask yourself why you're reaching for a drink, that is progress. The time you open your journal instead of uncorking the bottle, that matters. The fact that you're even thinking about this again and again means your awareness is growing, and with it, your capacity to change. Here's what I say to clients all the time. Only compare yourself to a previous version of yourself because that's where the truth lives. Are you more aware today than you were a month ago? Are you getting clearer on what you actually need beyond the wine? Are you starting to hear a voice in you that wants something more? All of that is forward motion. That's what builds lasting change. Other people's timelines don't determine your success. Your commitment to keep showing up for yourself does. What you can't see is the private doubt, the false starts, the slow becoming. Progress isn't always visible. Sometimes it's quieter thoughts, less panic, a longer pause before a choice. Your job isn't to match someone else's timeline. It's to stay honest about your own. Okay, if you can, grab your pen and paper. Okay, there's actually a link to a blog post outlining this in the show notes. So unless you want to do this now, you can head over to the blog later. I'm going to offer you some tools to recenter on your progress. Do a weekly then versus now check-in. Okay, so here's how this works. I want you to set a 5-minute timer and reflect on these 3 prompts. The first one is, what was I believing about alcohol or myself a month ago? And what do I believe about alcohol and myself now? Next, how do I respond to hard days now versus before? And then the last one, what would my past self be proud of today? This trains your brain to look for evidence of growth, no matter how small. And that's not just a mindset shift, it's the rewiring process. When you consciously notice even the tiniest signs of progress, pausing before a pour, waking up clear-headed, saying no thanks at dinner, your brain starts to recalibrate what success looks like. You're not relying on big dramatic milestones to feel on track. You're building a habit of seeing yourself as someone who's changing. Now, this is powerful because your brain loves to be right. If you keep telling yourself, I'm stuck, your brain will collect evidence to prove it. But when you shift to, I'm learning, I'm changing, I'm catching things sooner, your brain is going to get on board with that too. So when we say only compare yourself to a previous version of you, it's not just like some little cute advice tidbit I'm giving you. It's strategy. It helps anchor you in your data, your growth, and your timeline so you stop measuring your worth against someone else's highlight reel. Okay. The next tool, visual timeline tracking. One powerful way to interrupt the comparison spiral is to literally see how far you've come. So I want you to try this. I want you to draw a horizontal line across a piece of paper, like maybe a journal page, and mark down key moments since you started exploring sobriety. Not just the milestones like day 1 or day 30 days alcohol free. Mark the meaningful moments. Things like the first time you left a party early because your energy mattered more than appearances, or the night you felt the urge and didn't act on it. That morning you woke up clear and actually noticed how good it felt. The conversation you finally had with your partner about why this change matters to you. When you lay it out visually, you start to see what your brain often skips over. Your growth isn't invisible. It's just been busy happening in real time. This timeline becomes a receipt of your resilience. It reminds you, even when it felt like nothing was happening, something was happening. You've been becoming the version of you who doesn't need alcohol. Even if that growth doesn't shout, it still counted. Seeing it laid out reminds you that progress isn't linear, but it is real. And finally, the third tool, celebrate micro milestones. We've been trained to only throw confetti when we hit some magic number, 30 days, 100 days, 1 year. And while those can be powerful markers, they're not the only moments that matter. I would even argue the smaller, more personal wins are what actually move the needle over time. Micro milestones might look something like noticing a trigger and choosing to breathe instead of react. Saying, I need space right now, instead of pouring a drink. Going to a social event and quietly owning your alcohol-free choice. Maybe catching yourself in an old thought loop and choosing a new thought. Realizing you felt peaceful for no big reason at all. These moments are easy to overlook because they don't always feel dramatic, but they're massive. They show you're building a new default setting. So start keeping track. Write them down, say them out loud, tell a trusted friend or your coach. You can send me a DM. You're not just skipping drinks. You're rebuilding your self-respect. This is what we mean when we say progress that sticks. You don't have to wait until you hit someone else's number to be proud. You're creating something that lasts and that requires patience, celebration, and a whole lot of self-compassion. Okay. Oh boy, we've talked about this lie before. In fact, there's a whole other episode on it. Number 3, I just need more willpower. Willpower is loud at the beginning and quiet when you need it most. It burns fast and it wears out. What actually sustains you long term is self-trust. Not saying no to alcohol, but learning to say yes to your needs, your boundaries, that future version of you. This is where inner leadership comes in. You don't bully your way into change. You lead yourself there with clarity, not punishment. This is the one that kept me stuck for so long. I believed I could just grit my teeth a little harder, white knuckle through the craving, or power through the weekend without caving. Then I'd finally get it right. I'd wake up Monday morning, swear it was the last time. I'd download another tracker, make another rule, commit to trying harder. Sometimes my Monday would go great. I'd even start to feel energetic in the afternoon and really set aside any rationalizations that I had deserved wine. I would wake up on Tuesday morning feeling so incredibly proud of myself. It wouldn't take long to realize that I had to do it all over again that day. Keep the same smile, same energy. Sometimes I would. Sometimes it was too hard and I'd cave by Tuesday night. So this usually meant that I would just throw in the towel for the week. I'd just let the week ride out, leaning into my pattern of drinking after work. I was drained. My willpower was gone, and I'd start this cycle over. So eventually, I realized that willpower, it's the wrong tool for the job. If you haven't listened to it yet, there is a whole episode on willpower. That's how big of a topic this is. Willpower works in short bursts. It's helpful for saying no to dessert or getting to the gym, but it's not designed to carry you through emotional overwhelm, habit loops, and identity level change. What you actually need is self-trust. Not the kind you try to summon, but the kind you build through small, repeated choices that show your brain, I've got me now. This is inner integrity. Becoming a woman of your word. So I want to talk about why willpower fades, but self-leadership lasts. Think of willpower like a battery. Every decision, stressor, or emotional spike drains it. That's why it feels strongest in the morning and weakest at night. Self-leadership, on the other hand, is like rewiring the circuit. You don't have to fight cravings or wrestle with decisions because your new default is aligned with who you're becoming. So, of course, I'm going to lend a tool to help you grow self-trust instead of relying on willpower. Number 1, set I can do this goals instead of saying, I won't drink all month. Try, tonight I'm going to eat dinner, take a walk, and text a friend. Instead of focusing on what you're not doing, think about what you are going to do instead. These small wins prove to your brain that you can follow through, and repetition is going to build the identity. Number 2, anchor into your why every day. Don't just think about why you want to stop. Speak it, write it, return to it like a compass. Ask, who am I becoming when I choose peace over patterns? Okay, 3, regulate first, react second. Willpower collapses under stress, but when your nervous system feels safe, you can make aligned choices. Try box breathing, cold water on your face, or a 90-second pause when a craving hits. These aren't hacks. They're cues to remind your body we're not in danger. We don't need to escape. Okay, so what does help you get it for real? Let's move past all these lies. If you've been stuck thinking, why can't I get this? You're not doing anything wrong and you're not behind. You've just been trying to build something with tools that weren't made for the job. So let's continue to explore techniques that do work. This is what I walk women through every day as they move from just trying not to drink to building a completely different way of living. Many of the women do this as part of my group coaching program, but I also offer a limited number of one-on-one coaching sessions. Okay, Number one, identity work. This is the foundation. You're not here to just remove alcohol. You're becoming a new version of yourself. That shift takes time, intention, and practice. Who are you when alcohol isn't calling all the shots? That's the question we answer. Number two, nervous system regulation. When your body feels safe, you don't need alcohol to escape. This is the invisible work that changes everything. You learn to respond instead of react, and that's when the cravings start to lose their edge. Number three, daily calm. It's not about perfect routines. It's about consistent moments where you slow down, breathe, and meet yourself with care. These small acts create stability. Number four, pattern awareness. The goal isn't to never slip. It's to understand your patterns so you can stop living on autopilot. This is where journaling, voice notes, and real-time reflection become game changers for you. Number five, self-leadership. You don't need more willpower. You need a relationship with yourself that feels solid, the kind where you have your own back, even on the hard days. This is what creates trust and long-term change. Number six, community and coaching. Transformation doesn't happen in isolation. You need mirrors, perspective, and people who get it. Coaching gives you the tools and support, while community reminds you that you're not alone. You're doing something brave, and it gets easier the more you align with this kind of work. When you stop hustling for the right way and start reconnecting with your way, that's when everything is going to start to fall into place for you. When women come to me, they're often stuck trying to force change through willpower or guilt. Together, we shift the focus from beating themselves up for slips to observing patterns with kindness, from pushing for immediate perfection to building a daily practice of calm and curiosity, from isolation to connecting in a supportive community that holds space for growth and setbacks alike. The women I coach don't just quit drinking. They become women who don't need to drink. You're not behind. You're not late. You're on the path. The fact that you're still here, still listening, still trying to understand yourself better, that's the work most people run from. And you're doing it. Okay, this episode covered a lot, and now you know. Wanting it badly doesn't mean you magically know how to do it. Comparing yourself only slows your growth. Willpower alone was never meant to carry you this far. This journey requires more of your heart, not more of your hustle. And here's the truth I want to leave you with today. You are not too much. You are not too late, and you are not too broken to change. You're learning how to come home to yourself again, how to lead, love, and live without abandoning who you are to get through the day. You're doing the real work of becoming the version of you who no longer needs alcohol to survive, to celebrate, or to soften the edges. And it pays off in the most stunning ways. Clearer thinking, calmer mornings, real pride, deeper sleep, more laughter, and eventually a joy that doesn't come with a hangover. So here's your gentle next step. Head to the link in the show notes to the blog post with all of the assignments I've given you today. And if this episode hit home and you're ready to stop circling the same patterns, I'd love to support you inside one of my programs or into one of the deeper coaching containers I offer. The link is in the show notes to learn more. And hey, if this conversation helped you feel a little less alone, would you take a second to leave a review and subscribe to the podcast? It helps more women find this space, and I want as many of them as possible to hear there's nothing wrong with you, and there's so much waiting for you on the other side of alcohol. You've got this. I believe in you more than you know, and I will see you next week.